Oh, hi. Welcome back to That's So Nova. If this is your first time here, welcome. For the returning subscribers, I really appreciate you coming back. Today we're going to sew the Drew. It's a customized cover that's versatile and protective for all your accessories. It fits various items such as this is a composition book, or you can make it for your passports, your planners, your books, and other belongings. Inside you can find card slots, which I made here. But you can also create different things. Like you can make a where you can hold pencils, like a little loop for pencils, or maybe even get fancy and make a marking here to hold different assorted papers. But we're gonna go per pattern. Um, all the This is pretty easy because all the seam allowances is putting things together, and we're going to do a 1/8 inch seam allowance. It's pretty much piecing together and just top stitching. We're going to hold with clips, but you also can use double-sided tape. It's pretty easy to put together. I find this is a very fast project. Now, the way you cut out your patterns, because this is a measure and cut by the math that you make. So before you start cutting, you need to do math. There's a small section right after the instructions. You're going to need to know how to cut your item based off of finding the width, the length, and the depth. Once you have those measurements, it's really easy. They put a formula down for you to learn how to multiply, plus, and add, and then you create pattern pieces. What I did is once I had my measurements, I got a piece of like parchment paper, and I created my own pattern pieces so that I was able to lay it on fabrics and cut it out, because I'm one of these people that I am really bad with measuring and cutting. So actually having like an actual physical paper pattern piece is easier, so that way if I mess up cutting on a parchment paper, it's easy, I could throw it away. But if I can make the perfect pattern piece on a parchment paper, then I know I won't mess up on a piece of faux leather, cork, or what have you. Now, hear me out. This cannot be frame material. You cannot use water resistant canvas, waterproof canvas, or cotton. It has to be something that is self-healing. Okay. So once you have that done, we're going to need a couple pieces. But let me show you this beautiful journal. So this one I did on lambskin, and I lasered engraved this, and then I used leather paint. This project was so much fun. It inspired me to have some fun. I sound like a Seuss. Okay. Don't come after me, Dr. Seuss. Okay. So I laser engraved, and then I like freehand painted with leather paints this beautiful like ghost. I didn't know if I should color the bow, because I thought, like, the bow is a part of the ghost, and like because it's attached to her, it would be translucent too. I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong. Comment down below if I should have painted the bow. Like in my head, it feels like the bow would be translucent too. I digress. Okay, so this is my first attempt at lasering. It wasn't the best, so I decided instead of going to waste, I would be part of the cover. This is a 50 cents composition book, okay? And then I have 2 credit card slots here, and I have these bookends. Now, if bookends are optional, you don't have to do it, and then I can go and edge paint this. I didn't do that. I thought it was just fun to have it like this, and I'm okay with it. So what we're going to need, once you got your measurements and you got your pattern pieces, you're going to need one pattern piece that is pattern piece A, pattern piece B, pattern piece C, and pattern piece D. Now there could be other pattern pieces if you want. Like if you have extra pieces that you maybe want to put like a pencil loop or more credit card slots, you can do it. And this is the beautiful thing about Drew, is that you can have your creativity just go further. So I put some less sticky tearaway tape on here, and I left a little bit of room here so that way I could top stitch, so that I can have some reinforcement stitching on the cork and just make it look a little bit fancy. So I'm going to top stitch this pattern piece B, And I'm using a size 3 stitch length. You could use a little longer if you wish. I'm back stitching. Obviously, I didn't catch everything when I used my rotary. That's me. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. You don't have to top stitch either. It's just, I like the way a top stitch looks. All right, so I'm also going to do something that may not be the norm. Okay, so cork has a tendency to get a little bit of fuzziness. So I'm just going to gently take a lighter, not putting it too close, and notice that my flame is not just there. I'm just going to just singe to make sure kind of finish the edges on the inside so that it doesn't get fuzzy. All right, so I'm going to open. Before I open, we're going to put together this credit card slot. This is also a good area if you have like a name plate or a cork badge. I didn't have anything that was said spooky. All of them were really like whimsical, and I was like, no. So I'm going to put this on here. You can have your credit card slots to the top, lower to the side, however you want. I'm just going to put mine's kind of shifting in the middle. I just wanted to make sure it's like not leaning to the side. I put some sticky not too sticky double-sided tape at the bottom. This is like 1/8 of an inch. And as you can see, this is number C. Going to line it up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to stitch only at the bottom. I should have used different color for the credit card slots. I apologize. I was going through my scraps and I was like, which color? I will show you up close. I'm back stitching. Let me show you up close. So on the back, you can see there are stitching. And when you go up close, I only stitched this bottom piece. I didn't go up or anything. This is still nice and flappy. So if you had other credit card slots, if you wanted multiple, you would just nest them underneath and keep on going. I am just going to place this on top. Now, if you want top stitching on your credit card slot, you can do that too as well. You can do top stitching on here too. I like the way, I know this sounds weird, I like the way sometimes credit card slots look without them. Some people think that it makes the area have, it reinforces it. I, on the other hand, kind of feel like it doesn't really matter. It's personal preference. Some people feels like that it doesn't give it any stretch. It all is personal preference. So I'm going to nestle this right underneath where the T is. You're not overlapping it too much. You're just nestling right underneath. And you just want to make sure it's as straight as possible. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down, across, and up. What I do is as I backstitch at the beginning, I backstitch over here, I go across, up, backstitch, and backstitch. I backstitch because I'm an overstuffer. No matter if I have business cards, gift cards, credit cards, debit cards, I overstuff. So I don't put like 1 or 2 credit cards or cards in there. I'm an overstuffer by all means. So to me, if I think it's just more responsible to put backstitch there so it reinforces on the cards. And we're doing this at 1/8 of an inch. And when I'm going to pivot, I make sure your needle's down. And if you don't have the needle up and needle down, just make sure that you turn the hand wheel until your needle's all the way down. And when you feel the resistance that the needle's about to go back up, stop, and that's when you pivot. So I'm going to push the needle all the way down. And when it's about to go back up, that's when I'm going to turn and pivot. On this particular machine, I don't have a needle synchronizer, and sometimes I like that because on my garment machines, like on my Bernina, it doesn't have a needle synchronizer, and I'm fine with that. That's kind of how I learned how to sew, and it's okay. You just have to learn when to pivot. So just learning that little resistance. And you can see, and here, you can see where I backstitch, backstitch, backstitch. Do you see how that pivot? Yeah. Needle all the way down. When you feel it about to come back up, stop, pivot. Okay? Got this. I'm here with you. So we're going to place a up and open. Make sure you have it going in the right direction. I cannot stress this enough. And we're going to remove some tape. Now, you don't have to have tape. You can put clips. If your machine is like, dude, do not put tape in me. I'm gonna skip some stitches. Listen to your machine. Just because we want something, the machine may not want it. And it's fine. We just have to work around it. So I'm just going to line this up. As best as I can. Okay, and we're going to do that on the other side too. Remove this tape. This tape I got from Buckle, guys. It's not really tacky, and you can rip it. So I noticed the tape that usually can rip away and not have to cut, they don't have the same amount of stickiness as Wawak. And at first I would hate to get that tape, and now I'm gradually loving it because all tapes, there's a purpose for all tapes. Like I also like to use this tape when I'm putting pattern pieces together because it just makes my life a whole lot easier. All right. So you can put some clips over the areas that you know are going to be where the pattern is going to kind of shift, and you need to pay a little bit more attention to. It's not a lot of layers that we're going through, so just breathe. We're just top stitching. And as long as everything is going the direction it's supposed to, we're going to be okay. All right. So let's begin. You can trust your, you're going to trust your bobbin, or you're going to just top stitch from the front. I always trust my bobbin. What I do before I start any venture is I top stitch. Like right here, I did this, like I come from garment making, and any garment maker in here knows, because I try to do like a faux hem. So this is my top stitching. Here's my bobbin. I trust my bobbin. And if you are a garment maker, then you know what I did. I made a faux hem. That's how I do for all my machines. When I change needles, when I changed bobbins, I always do a sandwich. This is 3 yards of waterproof canvas, and the top stitching of the thread is beautiful, but my bobbin actually looks a little bit better. Come on, focus. So trust your machine. Take those steps. I know we're in the world where we want instant gratification, but what comes with instant gratification is instant failure. So take your time, breathe, and trust the process. So I'm going to sew from the lining side, because I want to make sure that I backstitch on the openings of every single one of these areas, because this is where it's going to slide in my composition book. And hopefully the person that gets this uses it for multiple books. So as they take out one, they can put in another one. So this is an area where more and more books are going to come in and out. So I want them to be able to use this for a lifetime. So these are going to be areas that I'm going to do some quick back stitches to make sure that they can have this book forever. So I'm going to start with the back stitch and end with the back stitch with a 1/8 of an inch. Putting the needle down. Pivot. And breathe. And if at any time you feel like, oh, this is too much, just stop. It's okay to stop. As long as that needle's down, you can stop. If you got to walk away and come back, it's fine. It's not like the machine's going to be like, haha, you walked away. So just breathe. Needle down. Pivot. So we're getting to that one of those areas where I told you I'm going to back stitch. I'm going to go back stitch 2 to 3 times. And this tape, it does pretty good. Again, I get it from Buckle Guys. I'll put the link in the description box. It's one of my favorites. Honestly, when I first got it, I absolutely I was like, this is not meant for leather. This is because once you have Wawak tape, you're just like, no, I want this tape for everything. But then I learned quickly that all tapes are not created for the same thing, and you have to be okay with that and learn when to use different tapes. And they have cool sizes too, like 3/8 of an inch, which comes in handy more often than I would like to say, especially when I'm piecing together pattern pieces. And is it coming up the needles a little bit? Yeah, I'm going to need an alcohol pad soon. But it's going to finish. And if you're really close and you're nervous, use that hand wheel, crank it. There's no shame in that. All right. We are done. We're trimming. Oh, sucky. All right. So again, it's cork, and I can see there's a little bit of fuzzies, so I'm just going to lightly singe. Cork always sometimes has a little bit of fuzzies. It's not the cork itself, it's the backing. The more I learn about cork, the cooler it gets. All right. All right, so we're going to do some things. We're going to put this composition book in. So this is our true test before we put some hardware. We're going to slide this part on. And before we fully put that in, we need to kind of put this one part on. Wouldn't it be a shame if it didn't fit? Like, well, guys, I ruined this for you. Oh, look at how cute this is, though. For real, that has no hardware on it. Tell me this is not cute. Oh my gosh, this is adorable. And you have your little cards. All right. Oh my God. This is so cute. Okay, I'm happy. So I got some hardware that we're going to be using to making this a little bit more fancy dancy. So there's some things you can get these like hardwares at Sallie Tomato. I'm gonna link because they have a really cool kit. You can get these at like everywhere. In aligned bags if you're in the Canada. If you have Amazon, I got these ones at Amazon, which are really kind of fancy, and you can get them everywhere. So the thing you're gonna want to get them to fit nicely, and then you want to have like a key fob thing and just press them evenly, but not like for your life. Like you're not. So sometimes I see people pressing these down and they're just like Hulk strength, and you don't need to. You're not doing this like you're an Avenger, and if you don't do this, the world's going to come to an end. So just, gentle. You're just going to shimmy this in here and gently squeeze. And you could put glue, like the beacon glue, or like E6000, whatever you have on hand. And they're called like if you look in the bookbinding section, and if you look for book corners, you'll find them. And they have some cool ones. Make sure they're on. If they don't look aligned, you can always kind of pry them open a little bit and then slide them on. Okay. Tell me this is not the cutest thing ever. So you have the Drew is so cool. And from what I read on the site, Jessica created this pattern because she thinks that Nancy Drew would have definitely used this from like the Nancy Drew comics and books and stuff. I so agree. And you can make this for your passport. And if you also can make the measurements bigger, like for like a binder, or like a bigger, like, oh gosh, if you have any kids that does art, maybe you can put their art onto some kind of vinyl or some kind of cork design and make it for their sketchbook. You're welcome. If your kid does that, that is a great holiday gift. So this is super cute, and it doesn't take a whole lot. And if you have like scrap cork and you wanted to do it for passports, this is really, really cute. Like if you make a bag and then you make a cork passport holder, that is adorable, or for a planner. So yeah, this is all we have for today. If you have other, if you see other Sallie Tomato projects that you would like me to make, comment down below. If you plan on making this, what kind of fabric are you going to use? So if you can comment, like, and subscribe, I would truly appreciate it. The links to this pattern and different hardwares and the kit where you can purchase a kit from Sallie Tomato will be in there. So until the next time I did speak to you, oh yeah, most importantly, there's a discount. Now, disclaimer for future people, this discount is only going to be available for the 2 months in October and November of 2025. So if you see this after 2025, there will be no discount. So I just got to say that. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. I hope everyone has a wonderful, whimsical day. Bye.